I reduced my systolic blood pressure from 142 to 118 millimeters of Hg in 47 days. Diastolic dropped from 94 to 76. Resting heart rate fell from 78 to 62 BPM. As a genetics professor studying metabolic regulation and cardiovascular aging, I want to share the 9 morning mistakes I eliminated and why each one matters. Blood pressure follows a circadian rhythm. The sympathetic nervous system surges upon waking, cortisol peaks, and the endothelium is particularly vulnerable. What we do in the first 2 hours after waking has disproportionate influence over our 24-hour cardiovascular profile. Mistake number 1. Checking your phone immediately. Reaching for your smartphone within minutes of waking superimposes psychological stress onto an already elevated cortisol baseline. The cortisol awakening response is adaptive, but cortisol is also a potent vasoconstrictor. Adding work emails or news notifications amplifies this response by 40 to 60% compared to stress experienced later in the day. I measured this myself. On mornings when I checked my phone within 5 minutes of waking, my systolic reading at 30 minutes was 11 millimeters of Hg higher than when I delayed by 90 minutes. My protocol: phone charges in another room. For the first 90 minutes, I engage only in low-stimulation activities. Mistake number 2. Caffeine before hydrating. Caffeine blocks adenosine receptors, removing a vasodilatory signal, and stimulates catecholamine release. Both raise vascular resistance. After 6 to 8 hours without fluids, you're already mildly dehydrated, which activates the renin-angiotensin system. Consuming caffeine in this state compounds the vasoconstrictive burden. My protocol: 500 milliliters of water with a pinch of sea salt immediately upon waking. Caffeine delayed until 90 to 120 minutes after waking, when the cortisol awakening response has subsided. Mistake number 3. Skipping morning light. The suprachiasmatic nucleus requires light to synchronize peripheral clocks, including those in vascular tissue. Circadian misalignment disrupts the normal nocturnal blood pressure dip. Beyond circadian effects, UVA radiation triggers release of stored nitric oxide from the skin, the endothelium's primary vasodilator. One study found 30 minutes of UVA exposure reduced systolic pressure by 4 to 5 millimeters Mg. My own measurements showed a 7 millimeters Mg difference on days with early sunlight exposure. My protocol: 10 to 15 minutes outdoors within 30 minutes of waking, sunlight on face and forearms. Mistake number 4. High glycemic breakfast. Rapid blood glucose spikes trigger insulin release. In insulin-resistant individuals, over 80% of those with hypertension, insulin's vasodilatory effect is impaired, while its sodium-retaining effects persist, a net hypertensive response. Acute hyperglycemia also generates oxidative stress that scavenges nitric oxide. My protocol: first meal contains protein, healthy fats, and fiber, never refined carbohydrates alone. My continuous glucose monitor confirms postprandial rises stay below 30 milligrams per deciliter. Mistake number 5. Holding your breath during exertion. The Valsalva maneuver, forced expiration against a closed glottis, can transiently spike systolic pressure by 50 to 80 millimeters of Hg. Morning hours are when cardiovascular events peak. Breath holding during routine activities may contribute. My protocol: conscious exhale on effort breathing. When lifting or climbing stairs, I exhale steadfastly through the exertion. I also do 5 minutes of slow diaphragmatic breathing, 6 breaths per minute each morning, which acutely reduces blood pressure by 4 to 6 millimeters of Hg through vagal activation. Mistake number 6. Rushing without transition time. Chronic time urgency triggers sustained sympathetic activation. Mornings with time pressure showed 35% lower heart rate variability in my measurements, a marker consistently associated with higher blood pressure. My protocol: I wake 60 to 90 minutes before I need to leave. This buffer allows hydration, light exposure, breathing exercises, and a proper meal without pressure. Mistake number 7. Hot showers without cold exposure. Hot water causes acute vasodilation, but exiting into cooler air triggers rebound vasoconstriction. Blood pressure rises above baseline. Brief cold exposure, while causing acute vasoconstriction, improves parasympathetic tone and endothelial function over time. Research shows cold water immersion improves nitric oxide-mediated vasodilation by 15 to 20% over 8 weeks. My protocol: every shower ends with 60 to 90 seconds of cold water on chest, neck, and face. My morning blood pressure is now 5 to 7 mmHg lower than with exclusively hot showers. Mistake number 8. Processed breakfast meats. Processed meats contain compounds converted to nitrosamines and advanced glycation end products that reduce nitric oxide bioavailability and promote vascular stiffness. They also alter gut bacteria in ways that increase trimethylamine N oxide, strongly associated with hypertension. My protocol: morning protein comes from whole eggs, wild sardines, or Greek yogurt. No processed meats. Mistake number 9. Ignoring potassium. The sodium-to-potassium ratio matters more than absolute sodium intake. Potassium promotes sodium excretion, relaxes vascular smooth muscle, and enhances nitric oxide synthesis. Increasing potassium reduces blood pressure by 4 to 8 millimeters of mercury, comparable to first-line medications. Optimal intake is about 4,700 milligrams daily. Most people get under 2,500 milligrams. My protocol: potassium-rich foods every morning: leafy greens, avocado, salmon. My daily intake now exceeds 5,000 milligrams. My morning routine: 5:30, wake naturally, phone in another room. 5:35, 500 milliliters water with sea salt and cream of tartar, potassium. 5:40, 5 minutes slow breathing, 4-second inhale, 2-second hold, 8-second exhale. 5:50, 15 minutes outdoor light exposure with gentle walking. 6:10, shower ending with 90 seconds cold water. 6:25, first meal: eggs, avocado, greens, sardines. No processed meat or refined carbs. 7, first caffeine. 7:15, first phone check. Results over 47 days. Marker before, after. Systolic BP: 142 millimeters of Hg, 118 millimeters of Hg. Diastolic BP: 94 millimeters of Hg, 76 millimeters of Hg. Resting heart rate: 78 BPM, 62 BPM. Heart rate variability: 28 milliseconds, 47 milliseconds. Fasting glucose: 108 milligrams per deciliter, 89 milligrams per deciliter. HSCRP: 2.8 milligrams per liter, 0.9 milligrams per liter. Waist circumference: 38 in, 34.5 in. Common questions: can I implement gradually? Yes, I recommend sequential changes over 2 to 3 weeks rather than all at once. What if I need to wake immediately for work? Adjust wake time earlier rather than compressing the protocol. Go to bed earlier to maintain sleep duration. Is cold exposure safe with heart conditions? For unstable angina, arrhythmias, or recent cardiac events, adapt gradually under medical supervision. Are supplements necessary? My results came primarily from behavioral changes. I do take magnesium glycinate and omega-3s as adjuncts. Conclusion: these 9 mistakes share a common thread. They all amplified the natural morning surge in sympathetic activity at precisely the time when the cardiovascular system is most vulnerable. Blood pressure management isn't just about sodium restriction. It's about understanding circadian physiology and aligning daily behaviors accordingly. The morning hours are a leverage point where small modifications produce disproportionate effects. My systolic dropped 24 points in under 7 weeks through changes that cost nothing and required no medication. Your cardiovascular system is responsive. Your blood pressure is modifiable.